Hi. Hello. Hello. Hi. Hi, Vincent. Hi, Sister Real. Thanks for joining. Hey, Sister Real. Thanks, guys. So, hey, Ty. Well, getting ready to have a conversation with Dafina Roberts. She is a filmmaker, and we're going to talk about her film. And there she is. Hi, Dafina. So we're going to get started. We have some people in the room. And so Sister Real was like, what are you guys doing? So I'm Rosalind Murphy. Hey, I'm Rosalind Murphy of Murphy Muse, and really excited to have Dafina Roberts. She is a director, writer, producer, and we're going to talk with her about her creative journey as well as her award-winning digital series, Giving Me Life. And Giving Me Life is actually going to be screening this Saturday at 8 p.m. at the Film Shop exhibition, and it's free. So you can go to Film Shop Instagram page, and in the bio it has a link for you to register, and you definitely want to check it out. So we're going to get Dafina in, and she's going to share a little bit about the film and, as I said, her journey. So thank you guys for joining. I'm going to show a little video first.
You okay?
Do I look okay?
Priscilla was convinced that we had something going on. She had this nightmare. We were kissing and we're not together anymore.
Why isn't he texting me back? How does that mean? He's corny. It's weird. Since he stopped answering your texts.
Personally, I've waited for y'all to get together for years. Pure comedy. You okay?
Do I look okay?
Priscilla was convinced that we had something going on. She had this nightmare. We were kissing and we're not together anymore.
Why isn't he texting me back? How does that mean? He's corny. It's weird. Since he stopped answering your texts.
Personally, I've waited for y'all to get together for years. You're pure comedy. You okay?
Do I look okay?
Priscilla was convinced that we had something going on. She had this nightmare. We were kissing and we're not together anymore.
Why isn't he texting me back? How does that mean? He's corny. It's weird. Since he stopped answering your texts.
Personally, I've waited for y'all to get together for years. Pure comedy.
So I just wanted to share a bit of a teaser. So I let it run about 2 or 3 times, but I do see that Dafina is in, so I want to bring her in. Again, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me, Rosalind Murphy, Murphy Muse. We have Dafina Roberts. She is a producer, director, writer, and we're going to be talking about her creative journey and also about her award-winning digital series, actually, that's Giving Me Life, that's going to be showing this weekend on Saturday at the Film Shop exhibition at 8 o'clock. In order to get a ticket, free access, you can go to Film Shop Instagram in their bio and get a ticket. So we're going to have her join us, and I think she actually, let's see if I can get her in. We're waiting for her. She's coming in.
Hello.
Dafina, hi. How are you?
I'm doing good. How you doing?
I'm doing good. Were you able to hear the trailer or the teaser?
I was like, okay, we're doing it.
Yes, we're doing it. I really love the series, and so happy that you said yes and that you joined me to kind of talk about your creative journey and also Giving Me Life. I was really excited about that, and so we can start. And if you can start and kind of just tell us a little bit about yourself and your career, where you started off. I believe it was a corporate to creative kind of journey. So if you could share that with us.
Yeah, it was a bit of a production to corporate to creative kind of journey. Or it's sort of tale. So wait, where should I begin? I'm sorry.
Yes, if you can tell us about yourself, and so for me, why I think that's interesting to show people who are interested, right? I think one of the things I love about New York, when I first got here, you would meet the banker who was also a screenwriter. It's like, so yes, we are multi-talented, we could do multi-things, so just kind of wanted to hear that background.
Yes, the important thing to being a writer is that you've lived, right? And that you're coming from your personal experiences. So yes, I am a writer, director, producer of Giving Me Life in the Land of the Deadass. This is a series about 6 young Black and Latinx friends of diverse sexualities living in New York trying to find love and work. And we all know that that's mighty difficult. So that's who I am. And so in terms of my journey, so I first started off actually in theater and film and also dance. I did a little bit of everything. That's the interesting thing about what you're saying. And that's really, really, really true.
Yeah.
Kind of multi-hyphenate artist, but at one point, you have to pay your bills, right? So then you're like, oh, how can I still stay in the industry and also pay my bills same time, which is always the struggle. And so I joined Viacom, where I did licensing for music first, because I initially, like I said, multi-hyphenate. I was doing all that kind of like producing theater work and also producing for film and also licensing music for film on the side. And that's what got me into licensing at MTV. So it was like MTV, VH1, CMT, and Logo. That was the music group under which I did licensing for Viacom. And then I decided that I really want to move back over to the more kind of creative side of things, but I still needed to pay my bills. So I over into development. And so that was just, connecting with someone who was willing to be my basically my champion in the company. And I think a lot of people, like when they're thinking about making like a lateral move over to another department, the question is like, do you have people who are championing you in your company, who see your value, who can help you move over into the right team, to grow your skills? And so at Nickelodeon, that's where I had the opportunity to go up through the ranks and ultimately become a development exec or executive in charge for different shows they have in their current series.
And so so during that, your corporate gig, were you also writing at the time and just kind of had a plan, okay, 2 years, 3 years, this is, I'm going to go full, or how did that transition happen?
I was writing, like I was moonlighting writing for sure. I felt like I was growing in terms of my understanding about how to develop a TV show at the company. But at one point, there was kind of like a shift where I realized that I wanted to be a creator, that it wasn't enough assisting the creators across the finish line with their projects and helping them, deal with the politics of corporate America, like meets their project and all that kind of stuff, that I actually really wanted to go back to the creative side. I loved, being a producer. I just like working with other creatives. And at one point I decided that, I was going to do it. And so I had to decide what project I was going to do it with. And that's when Give Me Life came.
Well, Dafina, you were such a great partner when you were at Nickelodeon, and we met during a time when I was at New York Women in Film and Television. And so you were, yes. So
seems familiar, but I feel like I'm one of those people who's like, oh, I know somebody, like I always think I know people, and they're like, no, I don't know you. And I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah, so you were always a great partner, and one of the things that we did together was the Pitch Fest, and that was a lot of years ago. I was going to say a couple, but it's been probably 5+, right? 5+ years. And so that is really great to have like seen you in that corporate role and working with creatives to now being a creative.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I think that, I always look for an opportunity to help other people, regardless, whether it's like I'm working on the development side with a showrunner, or if I'm working as a director, working with a cinematographer, or whatever the situation is. It's all about trying to find the right partnerships, if that makes any sense. Like people who want to do business with, people who you want to grow with as artists, people who make life fun, like just, like joyful. Put it that way. Joyful feels like the right word. Because this world can be so cruel, and it's this world is a lot, so to be able to find people who you can connect with and who you can build with, I think that's the key to living a good life and also having a good career.
Yeah, and I think when we look across all industries, right, but both of us have experience more on the entertainment film side, and we talk about diversity, we're looking at diversity across the board. We're looking at diversity on, on film, on the stage. We're looking at diversity with the executives and development people as you are, right? And so it was great, as I said, remembering to see you and like, yes, and we had somebody champion for us. So that's good when you see that, and then being a part of a woman organization and seeing that, we're like, yes, not only, so that part was exciting. Now, when you got to this particular film that we're talking about, Giving Me Life, and I did see Film Shop Join that is going to be showing this actually Saturday at 8 p.m. And so if you can tell us, since I kind of segued fast into that, what will the screening show? So I know it's a series. Is it showing, how many episodes would that be?
The first season, so 6 episodes back to back.
6 episodes back to back. Great.
Yeah.
And so what was the first idea about this show? What kind of clicked, like the first thing, like I want to write about young people and diverse characters, in New York?
It came from, basically I had written a short. Do you know Jamal Joseph?
I do. Yes.
Oh, it's a small world. Like, we all know each other.
Yes.
So I was he's one of my mentors. I used to be an assistant artistic director at Impact Repertory Theater, which is the youth group that's part of like the bigger New Heritage umbrella. So I was taking his class because I was a master choreographer there, an assistant artistic director, and I was like, I want to write, Jamal. And he was like, great. So he had at the time a community writing group that actually is still continuing on to this day, that Columbia University works with the community on. And so I wrote a short film, and it was about me growing up in New York, because I'm from New York City, I'm from Brooklyn. And it was about me and my friends. And I wrote it and I was like, yeah, this is great. And then I forgot about it, to be honest with you. And then one of my fellow writers in the writers group, we met up years later, and he was like, oh, whatever happened to your short film? And he actually presented me my script, and I didn't read the front cover. I just was like flipping through it. I don't have the I'm flipping through and I'm like, oh, this is funny. I'm like, who's this? It's like, why are you sharing this with me? He's like, this is yours. I'm like, wait. I was like, oh wow, this is a minute ago. And so, he's like, I think you should make it a series. And I was like, oh, you think? And he's like, yeah, I think that it would make a really good TV series. Like, I think you should just make it happen. And I was like, you know what? You inspired me, sir. I'm gonna do it. So that's how it happened. It's just based on like my friends and us growing up being wild and living our fullest life and just, you know, being. And looking for an opportunity to tell that story because I haven't seen it. I haven't seen that on TV yet.
I haven't seen anything similar to that either. And so you did say it was a while from writing to kind of your friend bringing it back to you. Once you guys connected, what was that getting it from, like, I guess, editing the script and to screen, like actually getting it filmed? And
so first I had to figure out how to make it go from a short to a series, and so that took a minute. Actually went back to the writers lab, the Harlem Writers Lab. Shout out to Lavera, I saw her in there, and other people who might be from the Harlem Writers workshop. And so I did some writing there, and then I took a step back and I just dug in there, and so I was writing it while I was working, you know, doing development work, usually doing somewhere between 40 to 60 hours a week of work. And then to add that on top of it, I was writing on the train on my phone, just like boom, 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 making it happen on the train back and forth. And then basically I shot this pilot because I knew that I could do that. I was like, I can shoot a pilot, and just shot that. And then I used the pilot to help me get into the Kickstarter's Creator in Residence program. And they basically helped me fundraise to get more money so I could shoot the rest of the series. So I, you know, was asking for money as we started shooting. And as we were leading up to trying to finish like some of the latter parts of the series, we didn't have enough money, and we knew we didn't, which is why we were doing a Kickstarter campaign. And basically our Kickstarter money came in like literally the day right before we started shooting the half. So I would not suggest that for anyone. That was not very smart. Never try to run a Kickstarter campaign and be in pre-pro at the same time. But like that was, I was on one. So I definitely would not suggest that. But Kickstarter really, really helped me to learn how to, you know, their program taught me about, we met with like the publicity head, we met with the research head, we met with publicity research, and also like their social media insights person. So they really helped me as a creator kind of learn how do I go out there and actually have a strategy for raising money, because I'd never done that before. So that was really good. And so then after we did the residency and we got the money and we finished shooting, I was just on my computer, on my laptop, you know, editing and coloring and doing sound mixing and everything, just being a hot mess. So, and then we just like put it out into the world, crossed our fingers, and it did well for us. So I feel really, really blessed because it could have gone 1,000 different ways.
So Kickstarter, for folks who are not familiar, is a crowdfunding platform. And I think generally I'm familiar with it with like film. People are raising money for film, art, theater projects. And one of the things I really love about Kickstarter is that I didn't know about the residency program, so congratulations on that. But one of the things I do love is that you can really build community as you are raising funds. Yeah. So I have done 3 Kickstarters and like 1 Indiegogo program. And so I love that part about it. Did you also find that experience that as you was raising money, you built a community who was really, you know, going with you the full way and really just excited about seeing the story?
Absolutely. Yeah. I was just like, I was getting money from people I didn't know. I was like, yes, like it was very like, just like, it was amazing. Cause you know, it's hard out here for us as artists, you know, you never know what project, if people are going to connect with or not. So the fact that people were like, you know, putting their hard earned money, you know, into supporting this means, it means a lot, you know? So yeah, no, it was amazing.
Yes, I love that, because I think we go into projects kind of thinking this is our audience, right? How do we develop our audience? So it's great when you see it kind of holistic coming together, organic coming together and building that. So finding people who love the story. And so I did right when you got on, and I was, introducing you, and I said, filmmaker, director, writer. Folks were like, oh, is she casting? How does she cast? So I think that's really interesting too, right? The casting, because you have an ensemble cast. How many people do you, I think I count 6 to 8. How many do you have?
Wait,
The
altogether?
actors. Well, I think the main characters, I was trying to count, yes.
Six.
Yeah. Okay.
No, we had a casting director. We had a casting director for the pilot, and then we brought on a casting director. I had a casting director for the first 3. Then she got a fabulous job doing casting in theater and moved on. And then we had another casting director for the back half of the series. But we had casting directors who were really great and supportive.
Oh, that's great. And so was that casting process where you had a call and you had people come in for a couple of days, or how did that work? Or did you cast like over a couple of months?
No, it was a couple of days. Like we basically did a casting call. People did their auditions to tape. We were like, yes, no, whatever have you. Then we brought people in based on like how their reading was. And then we did chemistry reads. A chemistry read is when you, especially if you already casted, you want to make sure that there's chemistry between the different actors. And so we were trying to figure out like who just basically vibe together, because you can't fake chemistry. Like, and also nobody cares. Like you can have as a writer and also as a director, you can have the best scripts and you can have all these great ideas about how you're going to shoot something. But if the actors don't have chemistry, nobody cares. So like for me, it's like, you just got to give it to the actors and let them do what they do and find the right matches.
Casting is so important, like you said, and the chemistry, it definitely has to be there. And so once the casting was done, when was the first shoot? So you having a series, did you get the distribution part of it first, or did you film it all and then you got a partner after it was completed?
We filmed everything and then we did the film festival circuit, and then we got distributors.
Okay. And how was the film festival circuit?
It was great. I mean, for me, I think I may not be the best person to talk to about this sort of thing, because I'm very much so like if you build it, they will come kind of person. I'm not great when it comes to marketing. I'm not the guru when it comes to that. I'm much more focused on the act of creation. So we got invited to the festivals that we went to. That's how we got put on. And the same thing happened with distributors. Like someone told someone else, like, oh, I think this is something that you would like. Or a distributor found us on like YouTube, and like they ended up coming to us, and that's how we got everything that we have. So it's been amazing. Like it's been really, really, really great.
So I just want to pause here for a minute. I can hear you well, but it looks frozen. Does it look okay on your end?
It looks okay.
And if you guys can just give a thumbs up, you guys, I'm very happy that you joined us, but I definitely want to make sure that you can hear the conversation as well.
Oh, but I think, I'm not getting a thumbs up from. I don't see the feed.
You don't see the comments?
I see the comments, but it doesn't look like they're moving.
Yeah, that's why I was kind of like, so.
Oh wait, mine just through.
Hello, guys. Can you hear us? If you can, okay. I think Lavera gave us a thumbs up, so you can hear us and see us. I'll continue. It was frozen for a while, so I just wanted to make sure that was okay. All right. So, that experience. So, you talked about film festivals. If you can share, like, how many film festivals, and was there a specific contact at the film festival you met that you got your distribution?
Okay, wait. Wish I was prepared for these questions. So the film festivals, I applied to get into the New York Television Festival. That was, I submitted my pilot for that. Then I believe the Cleveland International Festival contacted us. Then which Framelines San Francisco International LGBTQ Festival contacted us, and then it was um, um, out on film. Atlanta contacted us after that. So we went to the different throughout the U.S. and kind of like did our thing and promoted ourselves. And then in terms of distribution, the first distributor to, I think, contact us was Reverie TV, which is a queer digital distributor who contacted us. Then through the Cleveland International Film Festival, I believe, they have a relationship with Gravitas Ventures, who distribute a lot of independent films. And they liked our piece, and so they said they would distribute us to Xfinity, Comcast. And then we were approached by, I'm trying to remember who went first. Then we were approached by, yes, I believe we were then approached by, right, maybe not, we'll find out, by Urban One, which is also Radio One. They have TV One, and they also own a lot of websites, including like Madame Noir and a lot of like Black entertainment websites. They have their own initiative called A Space for Creators. Oh, so for anybody who is a creator, if you're listening, definitely check out A Space for Creators. If you're a person of color creating content, they're looking again to create a space for creators of color to have their work seen. And so they contacted us. And then the last one, I believe, is a new upstart called Black Oak TV that also contacted us. So my licensors came through, I feel like some of it YouTube, sometimes like through festivals, sometimes through contacts of people just knowing that I was doing the series. So it came from all over the place.
And so that's a great, you kind of talked about the different folks who reached out to you. That's awesome that you had so many distributors. So it sounds like you were able, did you decide on one, or you pretty much had the opportunity where you were able to show on different platforms?
Yeah, so there's one part of my brain that's like, creative and is not good at marketing and just wants to be in my whole, like writing in my writer's cave, being whatever. Mm-hmm. Another part of my brain that's pretty good at with the business side, and because I worked in development, I'm a little bit more savvy when it comes to that. So I did all non-exclusive license agreements at different term lengths because I wanted to be able to give the opportunity to be into different audiences, because obviously different audiences are going to be in different. So I didn't want to only license out to only one particular distributor, because that would limit, the piece's ability to be seen by others. So
yes, one of the things with filmmaking, we know it is a team effort, a collaborative effort. And one of the things that you were sharing was about having a casting director and then also having marketing. If you kind of like to share like what that collaboration looks like, or key members of the team that you collaborated with to get the digital series going.
Well, shout outs to my producer Sophia Clark. She's a real one. We were out here doing the most. I could not have done it without her. Many late nights, many sleepless nights that I feel bad about. But somehow, just she really made it happen. And then for all the cast, like the cast that came, that came through to just be a part and bring their best, and they were amazing. Like they just like, when you write and you're just like, please, I hope it's good enough to make it work. And they just found ways to just bring humor and lightness and humanity that I, hadn't expected. So that was amazing. My cinematographer as well, he was amazing. We talked about, I don't know which part I should talk about it, like, sitting down, talking to a cinematographer, talking about the shot list and talking about, the colors, or, because that's a conversation that you have with like your gaffer and your cinematographer. I'm not sure if that's what people are interested in.
Yes,
But
whatever you would like to share, but that's great to hear. But also one of the things we don't hear as much about, because I did notice the music in your series too. If you can talk about your composer.
yes, so I use I use a lot of music from my friend Jordan Baptiste. Um, Jordan is also a filmmaker. He started off as a music producer, and I told him, I was like, I love your music, I want to use it, and he was like, okay, like what? Because he's more focused on film now. I'm like, I was like, playing games with me. So he let me license it. So it was really great to use music from somebody who I've known for like a really 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 long time. But I was my own music supervisor. I was just like, I love that song. Let's put it together.
Okay. I love that. You wore so many hats in this, but thank you for kind of sharing some other like key, team members on that.
Yeah,
That
I mean,
was
like I did a fair amount of editing, but I also had an editor, Matt Chow, on one of the other one of the episodes. I think it's episode 4. So like the people came in and just really like hooked the situation up. Costume designers, makeup and hair, like it. Everybody came in and just elevated the piece.
Oh, that's another one too. You brought up hair and costuming. Yes, that's very key, especially when you have a series, right?
Yeah.
And then you have, like you said, 6 main characters. So would you like to share, because we would love for folks to come and join us in the screening. Would you like to share a little bit about the different storylines or a specific character, the main character that you love, just to kind of give people like a taste of what they will be seeing on Saturday or what the story's about?
Sure. So each episode follows one of the 6 friends that I was talking about. So the first friend is Nala. She is an activist, artivist out here trying to do it for the cause. But unfortunately, the nonprofit where she works closes down and she has to look for a new job. And so that's kind of like the setup for the first episode. The second episode is about her friend and roommate named Leah. Leah is bisexual, pansexual, and she always finds it hard to find people to date because they're not up to her standards. And also people have there are misconceptions about people who are bi and people who are pan, that they're promiscuous. And so she feels very strongly that it's hard to find someone who will date her, who will take her seriously. And so that's her journey as she goes to a bar, and things kind of go wayward. The next episode is about Travis. Travis is a gay Christian, and he is dating a lovely guy who he loves a lot, and he gets an opportunity to get into some sexual shenanigans that he has to decide how he feels about regarding his spirituality and whether or not he should be involved in that sort of thing. Then there is Cam. Cam is the kind of guy who loves ladies who are fiery, and he kind of has this girl who he's dating. Unfortunately, she wants to come back to his house, just to feel like she's, that she knows him. But unfortunately, he's actually couch surfing, so technically homeless. And so he's going to try to figure out like how can he get her to trust him, even though he refuses to bring her back to his home, which doesn't really exist. Then there's Jess. Jess is is queer. She's out here living her fullest life. She is a middle school guidance counselor who likes to smoke, likes to have a good time, and basically, I don't want to give away too much, but she's the kind of friend who gets into a ton of shenanigans and she will pull you into it. And so I don't know, I guess it's like Ferris Bueller's Day Off, but with her. Like she's just a crazy character. It's a lot of fun. And then the last one is the one you just saw the trailer for, Gil. Gil has decided that he's done with his ex-girlfriend. He's like tired of the craziness, and he's thinking about talking to one of the friends, Nala, who was from the first episode, and all the characters are in all the episodes, but he's thinking about talking to her and he gets a surprise. That's what I'll say. He gets a surprise and things again go left. So a lot of the stories are about basically shenanigans that we go through in our 20s, and the craziness of it all. But at the end of the day, we have our friends who, you know, are going to be there for us, even when life gets really serious and can get hectic.
Yes. And as I said, what I loved about it was the diversity of experience, sexuality, and just, you know, stories of the day. And I think one of the things I was reading that you love coming of age stories. So would you kind of say, are you staying in that kind of genre, or are you looking at kind of expanding to other ones?
Um, I would say that I will continue to make coming of age stories, but I do plan on expanding to other ones. Like right now, I'm working on developing a TV series that I plan on shooting in Ghana. A friend of mine who I connected with, like after seeing the series, she's like, let's do a series based in Ghana. So we are doing a series about a 20-something that's turning like into going over to her 30s, and she is in the financial industry, and she has just had a really hard time because she's a Ghanaian American. She was engaged. She was about to live her fullest life with her fiance, who runs a hedge fund. And it turns out that he's actually running a Ponzi scheme. And so her relationship obviously falls apart. Their business obviously falls apart. And she has to return back to Ghana, kind of with her, you know, her tail between her legs, and kind of feel like I have to restart my life all over again. And so she starts a private equity firm with her four gal pals together. And so it's a story about rebirthing as a woman, rebirthing, you know, in terms of as a businesswoman, and finding yourself again, finding love again, and finding prosperity, even after you've been publicly shamed and kind of put through the ringer. So it's a form of coming of age, because to me, I think that we're constantly coming of age. We, you know, like we birth ourselves in every kind of like, I guess, decade or so that we go through. And it's about finding the courage to both find yourself, but also being able to just discover what, you know, what your boundaries are, and if you can push past those boundaries. So that's what I like about coming of age. It's not so much a particular age group, but it's a mentality towards life.
Right. That pivot, which a lot of us do. You do it different times in life, right? So are you going to be, for that film, are you going to have shooting locations in the US and also Ghana?
No, we're going to shoot primarily in Ghana.
Okay, awesome. That's exciting. And what time frame are you looking for that?
Well, right now I'm still working on the pilot. So we'd love to start pitching it out to the market next year, 2021, and then, you know, move from there. But it's looking really promising, and I really think that, you know, I want to see more content. I want to see more content from the continent. You know,
Yes.
This is a conversation that desperately needs to be had from everybody in the diaspora, to, you know, to everybody on the continent, and hearing from diverse countries, and for us to truly connect, because, you know, I just feel like that this is the time. Do you know what I mean? It's been the time, actually.
Right.
Been the time, many moons over, but I feel like this is the time for us to come together and celebrate our diversity within the, you know, within the Black community worldwide.
Yes, I've been hearing about a lot of co-productions in Nigeria and South Africa. And I think one that was interesting, this was pre-COVID, how they were shooting, a lot of Nigerian film productions were shooting in Texas. I remember asking, like, what specifically about Texas? I don't know if it was the grants or the incentives that they had, but I just thought that was really interesting that specifically in the US, they were filming in Texas. So that was pretty cool. So we do have one question, but before we go to the question, I think we have like about 10, 15 more minutes. I wanted to ask, like, how are you doing during this period, you know, during COVID, the pandemic, and what have you, you know, been doing during this time?
So in the beginning of the pandemic, it was really hard. My sister works at a COVID unit in the hospital, like in New York City. So it was really rough emotionally, you know. Some of her, you know, coworkers passed. Like, it was just a lot of like stress and drama. So it was a lot, you know. I think that, you know, the good thing about New York is that, you know, we're tough, and we are, you know, we somehow make it through. And so it was really about, for me, to be honest with you, I'm just happy to be, I'm happy to be alive, to be honest with you. Not in a like, but just happy to, we're going through a lot of turmoil right now, right? With all the, you know, I mean, we've been, I feel like white America has just woken up to the fact that there's police brutality again, but like, this is a reality that everybody lives with, right? So that's just, these are just facts, right? But, you know, to have, you know, that these arguments back and forth, right? And we're still having these arguments because some people still don't want to believe we live in an unjust society, even though they have evidence in their face every single day. But, you know, with that and COVID, I think it was just emotionally a lot, you know, for a lot of us. And so for me, I've just been really wanting to be joyous and to really appreciate my life and to appreciate the lives of others and to bring joy to other people. So for me, it's been a mix of trying to stay like focused and balanced, to be honest with you. And then at the same time, just connecting with people and getting back to the basics, like getting back to our humanity.
Yes.
If that makes any sense.
Yes, and then you're located in Brooklyn, so that was also tough being in this area when it started off, and it was like the biggest cases being in New York, so.
Yeah, it was rough. Yeah, I'm in the Bronx now, but I'm originally from Brooklyn. And so it's just, yeah, it's rough. You know how it is. It's like Black people always get the, the worst side of everything, right? But that's why I think that we need to, you know, I think that love, and it may sound corny, but whatever. Like, I just feel like love is the only thing that can keep you going when there's so much hate and so much anger and so much pain.
Yes.
And that's like that. I feel like a lot of my work is about that.
It is. And how is your sister doing now?
She's doing a lot better. You know, the cases are a lot lower, you know, so, you know, and now they have PPE, like, you know, because I remember at the top of it, it was insane.
Right.
Like, it was literally insane. So, it was rough, but now, you know, they're in a better place in terms of equipment.
Well, that's good. And thank you for sharing that too. I think people have been experiencing different things at different points of this with COVID and then, you know, the protest. And, you know, I've heard so many things that people are using the time to kind of birth new things or for self-care or with family. But I think overall, when we are all kind of sharing the message, it's about kind of resetting and what's important. Love is important, family is important, being true to yourself is important. So even though we have all of these other passions, it comes back to what's important and how do we heal?
Exactly. And healing is an everyday act.
Yes, it is. It is. Well, let me see. We have a question here. So, Sister Real, can you guys see it? How do you audition writers? I've always wanted to be on a writing team, specifically comedies.
So the in terms of like the process of having a writer join your writing your writer's room, basically you submit works, right? So either it can be a spec script. A spec script is a script that is from another TV show that's out right now, and you're writing a version of it, like, you know, that's in the world with the same characters and that sort of thing. Or you can submit a pilot of your own original idea, just so someone can hear your voice, see how your comedy flows, how you write character, how you write story, and then you move from there. So usually, you know, when a showrunner is looking for writers, they usually put out a call to start receiving, like either through their agent or their manager or whatever have you. But that's the process.
Okay, thank you. Do you have any other questions? You can put those in the box. The comments are a little hard to read, so if you can put that in the box, that would be great. I want to make sure I get to your questions. So with what was one of the things that you kind of want to share with folks that are, you know, coming to the screening? What are you really proud about, you know, this series?
There's so much I'm proud about. I feel like we were at the forefront, you know, when we came out, of being a part of that diverse voices from a Black and Latinx perspective. And I feel like, you know, when we see shows like, I May Destroy You, or, other like pieces that are coming out that are trying to show us in our full humanity, even when there's like a bit of humor, there can be also a bit of sadness, right? That we can explore that in ways. So for me, I'm just really about being a part of that conversation. That like, one of my, the guy who plays Travis, Mark Sincere, he went on to, now he's in a Disney show, High School Musical. Yeah, so like I feel like everyone, all the cast, like they're amazing, like they're amazing actors. So I'm happy to be a part of like their journey. So so there's that part. I there's so much. I mean, even that piece got me a manager. That piece, also got me the opportunity to be a part of the Ryan Murphy's half directing initiative. So Ryan Murphy is the showrunner for 9/11 and Pose and The Politician and American Horror Stories and American.
Congratulations, that's big.
He's that dude. And so I submitted that piece to be part of this directing initiative that's supposed to be about, getting parity, both for women and also people of color, because we're not well represented in the industry. And so I had the opportunity to shadow on The Politician, so which is on Netflix. So it was a really, really good opportunity because, even though I had done the network side as an executive, I didn't really sit down with my directors and talk to them, like, oh, so how is it going? And if I wanted to do this, how do I do that, right? Like, it's not the kind of conversation, right? So I was mostly talking to the showrunner. So as a writer, I felt comfortable, but as a director, I was just out here making it happen, to be honest with you. I was just like, listen, we're going to just do this. Yes. It was good to see, how a union set, runs when a director is working with their crew. So that was a very educational experience. And actually the HAF Foundation, is just really, really supportive. Again, in that way, again, I feel lucky. I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like, I feel like your time, like everyone, your time is now, right? Like, and I just, not to get too like spiritually or whatever have you, but like, I feel like we all live by divine appointment. You know what I mean? So like, if you feel like, oh, well, my time's now, oh gosh, I have to rush. Like, no. Like the universe has you, it's holding you. It wants you to become, like you're becoming, but you've always been. And so I feel like there's something to be said for like, just taking your time, digging into your work, working on your craft and being present with what is in your heart. And then allowing the universe to give you its offerings because it wants to give you its offerings. I think a lot of us live in a place of fear, in a place of anxiety, especially during these times. And it's hard not to, right? Because financially it's just crazy. But I don't know. I feel like if you really, can hold on and live your truth and reach out for help and also help others, that balance will come to you. And good opportunities will come and you'll have a good learning experience. So, yeah, so that's what I like this, to be honest with you, this series has given me a lot of opportunity.
And one of the things we didn't mention, your series during the film festival run received an award, an AT&T award, right? And which film festival was that?
That was at Frameline in San Francisco.
Okay. And really, so would you recommend like the film festival route? Because during that film festival route, you had several you were in, so you got to get some recognition as well as build community.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I would. I had a great time. I like at the time I was going to other people's like films and being like how do we even get in? Like I just was like, this is insane, right? Like they're just these mega amazing films, and then there's little old us. So like I was just happy to like get nominated, like just happy to be like in the mix. So it was really, really cool. Yeah, no, I would recommend it, but I do think it's all about knowing what each film festival kind of has its own bag, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right. Like, I think knowing what manager expectations around what do you feel this film festival will do for you.
Right.
Sometimes it is about building community. It really, really is. And you'll find artists who are like, I have to work with that person again. I'm so glad that I went to this festival, because if I hadn't, I wouldn't like, I wouldn't have a personal connection. I would just see their work from afar and be like, oh, one of these days. But because you guys festival, like now you're like, you know, like we've got this thing, right? So there's that. Sometimes, you know, you go to certain festivals because you know you want to sell, right? And that's a different, you know, like when
Yes.
I was a when I before I went was at Viacom, I worked as a co-producer on a film that went to Sundance and Tribeca. And so Sundance and Tribeca are a different bag, you know.
Yes.
So it really depends on, you know, what you're hoping to get out of it and where you are in your career. And again, just I don't know, like, again, being where you're at, if
That's
that makes
so important. No, that's so important about the film festival because Sundance is great. You know, it's a film market festival, but there's so many niche like festivals. Like I had a friend who was doing a justice doc, and he applied to some of the top festivals, didn't get in, but then he applied to a smaller one, and now he has a distribution for a streaming site because it's specifically about race relations and justice. So he went to a film festival that actually focuses on that, and they had people there who are interested, and they have a platform to show that. So I think that's really key. And that's why I just want to thank you again for doing this, because one of the things I love in doing these talks, I think it's really important to talk about the backstory, right? And again, I say I love your story because you're corporate to creative. That was my similar journey. And, you know, I just want people to know they can do it. I think during this time in COVID, a lot of conversations, to your point, has been about what is your passion and purpose? So if you do have a passion around writing, if you do have a passion around that podcast,
yes.
you have a passion about going back to school, what is your passion? You can do it. And I always joke, I'm kind of like on my fifth career. Like I'm on my fifth thing, you know, career. I went to school for one thing, and I love that I say, well, I keep trying. My interests change, I grow. So that's thank you for that. And we do have one other question, so I want to get to. I think we have. Let's see what this one is. Alyssa, I am an artist. Are you writing any Christian movies? That's a good question.
I think my mother wish I was. No, I'm not. No, I'm not. But I think good Christian movies do need to be made. So I hope that you're making them.
I was going to say, I was researching last year faith-based Christian production company. So if you send me a DM, I can show you my research. So there are several, you know, like faith-based production companies. I know Devon Franklin is one of, you know, lead producer who really also does faith-based films.
It's a great question.
Yeah, it is. There's so many. I would love to do sci-fi. And what I hear from people, like the budgets are crazy for sci-fi, but I actually saw a South African film that did sci-fi a couple of years ago, and I was like, it can be done. It can be done.
Absolutely. It's funny because that's my next film is a sci-fi film.
Okay, we can work together.
Yeah.
You know, I love sci-fi, and I have all of these different ideas about execution. But then when I saw it was in one of the film festivals a couple of years ago, I was like, the film, I think it was 8 minutes, but it was so beautifully done.
Well, you know, I think that's what it all comes down to. Like, how creative can you be with the budget that you have, right? And the more that we get into our craft, the more creative we can be, right? It doesn't have to be like, you know, Star Wars, right, for it to be powerful, right? Yeah, and sure. I'm experimenting right now with practical effects and all that kind of stuff to see how I can make my film happen. So yeah, no.
I think one of the things too, so that's great. You were sharing about your next film in 2022, but I'm hearing folks, they're telling writers now to kind of be creative and think about if you're writing a film that you want to be, you know, produced or during production in the next year and a half, think about one location, think about, you know, not as much like the intimacy, like, you know, like think about those things that is going to kind of be on hold to 2022. So can you do a film in one location? Can you do a film in the house? Can you do a film by the lake and have one location? Can and you have a film with like two people not having like a lot of, extras and cast. So I think there are ways that we can kind of move forward in production, especially like when you're doing indie film, you already kind of know how to do it cost effective, right?
Exactly. I mean,
So we're going to close out in a minute. Just tell, so what's next, and what would you kind of, like to share what's next? And again, we can remind the people about the screening this Saturday.
so what's next is the screening. The next thing, this 8 o'clock. Go to Film Shop at filmshop_US, and you can see. If you go to the bio, you can get information there. Also on my Instagram, in my bio at the Mighty D Row. You can also, if you go to my bio and press on that link, you will see it there as well, to get free tickets to check out the screening this Saturday at 8 o'clock. And then in terms of what's next is, like I mentioned, I'm writing this Ghanaian TV series with a Ghanaian American producer who's a fabulous woman, who is amazing and has done really, really great work. She was one of the producers on An African City, which was a digital series on YouTube that had like 3 million hits. She's just like a powerhouse. Hey, Millie. And so we're working together. And then my project after that is working on that sci-fi film. So I have a few things in cooking, and I have to get back to producers and production houses, get my life together. But yeah, I'm in the lab working, typing away.
That's awesome. Thank you. Well, thank you again, Dafina, for sharing, your creative journey as well as your award-winning series. And so we do have a chance to watch that on Saturday. And thanks again for sharing your passion and purpose. And so going out, thanks everyone for joining. And please follow Dafina. I have her Instagram handle here. And again, I didn't, for the person who was asking about the faith-based films, please reach out to me. I can share that list that I have. And I'll share a bit of the, yes, let me see. I share a bit of this. Here we go. I don't know if you guys can hear. I'm gonna go.
I don't think they can.
They can't hear it. Okay. They can't hear it. But if you go to her Instagram page, you can't hear, but here's the visuals. But thanks everyone for joining. And I'm going to save this because we have like 2 more minutes. Have a good one.
Have a good one. Thank you for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, guys.